Cindia, and welcome to episode 37 of the Carrie Roldan show, where we spend 30 minutes or so having a week. Try that again. 30 minutes or so a week having conversations that matter to the entrepreneur's body, mind, and business. And I'm your host, Carrie Roldan, and I'm a wife, a mother, a runner, a best-selling author, and a personal growth junkie. And I'm your business BFF, which stands for Best Friend Forever. You guys, I fancy myself an intuitive business muse because I help entrepreneurs to find their niche, create an offer that truly serves them, and then launch it online. I'm having trouble with my tongue today. Authentically and profitably. If this sounds like something you needed like yesterday, then let's get the ball rolling. I think the first place that I would ask you to go is actually get my free ebook. It is called Get Where You're Going, Girlfriend, 6 Steps to Actually Achieving Your Outrageous Goals. And you can get that at www.carrieroldan.com/ebook. Okay, you guys, I created the Carrie Roldan show because I have stumbled, and I continue to, on my entrepreneurial journey, because the road to success thus far has been full of potholes, detours, and dead ends, not to mention my dog barking in the background. I didn't put her outside this morning, guys, because it is like 1,000 degrees here in Huntington Beach, California, and my house does not have air conditioning, so I needed to keep those doors open. Anyways, not to mention self-doubt, fear, worry, debt, marital tension, and personal struggle. And you guys, I wanted to continue to share what I learn on my journey in the hopes that it will help you guys too, because I know, and you do too, that online entrepreneurhood can often be a really lonely place, and I'm on a mission to help us connect. So on that note, it is the first Wednesday of the month, which means it is special series time, and we are in the 6th month of our special series, the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras, with my very special guest, Cindia Carrere. And I've been so delighted to, connect you guys with her. It has been so fun to see how you guys resonate with her. So I'm actually going to share my screen right now so that I can show you our acronym for this series. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. So there we are, the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras with Cindia Carrere. But here is Cindia's acronym, and we were just talking about this in the green room. So it is, the first chakra is our yes energy, and moving up we go to health and happiness, to trust your gut, to love in the heart chakra, abundance, which we talked about last month in the throat chakra, and here we are today, both of us wearing blue in the 6th chakra. I'm going to have tongue twister time with that all day today, I'm sure, which is our third eye, and following up next month with women and worth. But I'm going to close that, and for some reason this is just taking me a really long time. Okay, so here we are again. So that is our Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakras series. If this is the first time that you are joining us, I encourage you to head on over to my YouTube channel. You can actually, if you're viewing this on a Google Plus page, there's a link to the playlist in the comments section. But if not, just head on over to my YouTube channel and look for the playlist for the Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy, or go over to YouTube and Google that. Enter that in the search bar on YouTube, and you will find the playlist where you can get all the episodes and catch yourself up. Okay, so I am talking for a long time here, Cindia, and I will introduce you in just a minute, but I want to read to you guys what I wrote. I wrote this about 2 weeks ago when I was thinking about today's show and the 6th chakra. So here's what I wrote. I wrote, what do you see when you close your eyes? What happens in your mind's eye when you visualize? Can you see auras? Do you want to? And does any of this have anything at all to do with the third eye and the 6th chakra? So Cindia and I are in the 6th month of our Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy through the Chakra series, and I'm excited to have this conversation. This month we'll be paying special attention to the 6th chakra, the third eye. I am so looking forward to learning more about what is going on in this mysterious chakra. At least it's been mysterious to me. and how it affects us in our businesses and on our entrepreneurial journey. So while I was researching for this show, I found this quote, and it says, "The third eye deals with insight, intuition, and wisdom, and is weakened by all forms of illusions. Physically, it supports your upper frontal sinuses, eyes, ears, and the outer layers of your brain. But a closed, this is so hard for me to say, 6th chakra, closed or blocked 6th chakra, will keep you stuck in analytical, busy churn mode, which is exhausting and stressful. And an open and strong 6th chakra will enable you to spend most of your time in relaxed flow mode and tap into your inner wisdom and intuition, which, I lost my page, I lost my notes. Intuition, there we go, which is really guidance from your own soul." Okay, now doesn't that sound like something that we awakened entrepreneurs need? An open and strong 6th chakra. And how often do we find ourselves in busy churn mode? So I'm going to actually ask you guys if you are here, whether you're here on the Google Plus page or you're here on Crowdcast. If you're on the Google Plus page, I would love if you joined us over on Crowdcast, because this is the first time I'm using it and I really want to test it out. But can you answer that question for us, which is, how often do you find yourself in exhausting, busy churn mode? And that's why I have Cindia on here today. So I'm actually not going to give Cindia a lengthy introduction today, because most of you guys have already met her, but I'm just going to say that she is an amazing intuitive for entrepreneurs who gets regular spiritual downloads from source energy and just has a ton of insight and wisdom and knowledge to share with us. And I'm sure that it will make itself abundantly clear as we have our conversation today. So Cindia, I'm going to put your beautiful face on the screen. You go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's say hello to everyone.
Hello, and thank you, Carrie. That was a very warm welcome. That made me feel good. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So I'm going to ask you to mute yourself because I'm getting a little bit of feedback. And I'm just going to check right now. Okay, so I'm using Crowdcast for the first time, so I'm checking to see that, yay, we have active viewers, but I'm not seeing comments yet. So guys, if you're using Crowdcast, it may be my app, and I'll just switch over to the other screen to see. Oh, yes, I get a good evening from Marcus. So until I figure out how to use this efficiently, I'll just be going back and forth between screens. But again, if you're on the Google Plus landing page, head on over to Crowdcast. I put the link in the comments section, and try it out with me. So thank you. So Cindia, sorry about that. Let's get started, because this is sort of a strange place to start, and it's not what we talked about in the green room, but it came to me when I was doing the introduction. Years ago, I was told by an intuitive that I was working with, I was talking to, that I had a blocked third eye, and she said that that was due to some painful past life experiences, that I had actually closed over it myself. And she did some work with me to try and unblock it, but in working with you, I have recognized more and more, especially in the past few weeks, and this is what I did share with you in the green room, that I am feeling definitely like I am coming into alignment, and that I feel like a lot more clarity in my vision. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the unblocking of my third eye. And so we'll start there, and then I'll let you jump off, because I know you have all sorts of good stuff to talk about.
Well, there's a quote, and I wish that just came to mind. I wish I knew who said it. So if anybody knows, that's great. But it said, "A confused mind says no." So when there's too many options, or things are cloudy or whatever, it just tends to shut us down. So while we think that we want to have many, many options, I even received an email this morning from somebody who was just saying, they don't know which way to go. And so everything is so confusing to them. And the more aligned you are with your vision, with your own soul's blueprint, the more that just opens up. But I do want to say something is, the chakras do not open all at once. If everything were open, things open. So imagine, like our second chakra, which is our sexuality and creativity, that's not appropriate for a little child to have open yet. So it opens when you get more into your teenage 20s. That's when that one becomes really active. And things can happen if a chakra is closed down or is open too early. And as we are rising up, the crown chakra especially, but this one doesn't open necessarily as early as people think. And so that's traditionally, that's why elders and people who are considered crones or something when they've reached a certain age, that's when they have a lot of wisdom, is because as naturally the chakras start opening. So what part of what you might feel is, you're such a little baby bird still, love you, but you still have that dewy freshness of youth. The pressure you're feeling might be that things are starting to open. And I'm going to hand it over to you to see if that resonates with you.
Yes, but I'm laughing so hard. Dewy freshness of youth. And yet this morning, as I was putting on makeup, you know what I found? I found gray eyebrow hairs. So I'm 39, people. I think I might be in my last year of the dewy freshness of youth. But that actually was shocking to me when you said that, and because I've worked with people like energy healers or massage therapists or whatever who say they're doing like chakra opening, and I thought in order to be in alignment that all our chakras needed to be opened at once. And so that was actually the first time I've heard and understood that they open at different times. So does that mean they is there a natural sequencing of opening, and or sometimes some open and some close? Like I actually, before we talk about the 6th chakra, I'm a little curious about that.
Well, it's not an exact science. So, other people who've done research or lived with it might have different opinions. But from everything I understand, there is a natural order of opening things as we grow, as we evolve, as we learn. So, we've got energy and sexuality and creativity and our open heart, as it goes up. And then we have our voice. And of course, little kids, when they're allowed, have voice. I mean, you can hear kids scream at the top of their lung, but that's not exactly what we're talking about. Where the natural energies, and sometimes I've even heard and read of when people like in the 60s or something were experimenting with psychedelic drugs, it like blew open their 6th chakra, and some of them were damaged. You've seen and heard about people who were damaged permanently because it was too fast, and it took them on a trip that they really couldn't come back from. And so there's a lot of Kundalini stuff and whatever that, as it supports, if it is opened too fast, it can be harmful. And if you just think about age appropriate for the different chakras to be opened when you need them. So in a healthy, perfect world, they are like notes in a song or something, like ding, ding, ding. And of course, some people, prodigies or whatever, can open as long as others are there to support it. So it's all about balance and alignment and support. So our chakras can be injured or hurt just like any other part of our bodies and being.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. Okay, that is making so much sense. And I'm actually thinking about, you talked about a child in the 2nd chakra, about how if a child is sexually abused, right, that opens their chakra too early, and then they're dealing with that damage later. So not what we're talking about our show today, but definitely clarifying moment for me. So thank you. I do just want to give a shout out to Elaine. I see you here live. I'm not sure if you jumped over to Crowdcast or not yet, because I actually switched back to Comment Tracker to see what's going on as I figure this whole thing out. And actually, so I'm just going to test something out right now just to see if it works. And, oh, it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay, so when I use Crowdcast, Comment Tracker still works. But Elaine Cooper just is resonating what you said earlier in the show, which is confused minds say no. Oh, boy. So true. So thank you, and hello, Elaine. And now, Cindia, let's get moving. So I talked about the entrepreneurial journey to wealthy, and I gave the acronym as we started the show. But you in the green room did such a beautiful job of bringing us perfectly to where we are right here in the 6th chakra. So not to put you on the spot or anything, but can you do that again for the people watching?
Sometimes I wish we could record the green room and then just insert that. So as Carrie said, we're, my audience especially, but this audience is for entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, awakened. And we're saying yes. So most of us have had a tapping on the shoulder, a big bonk on the head, something that awakens our soul that says now is the time for you to step up, step out, take your leadership role, and give your message. And so, of course, abundance is my word. I love the heart chakra because it's full of love, but I think I may get most excited about this chakra, maybe for personal reasons, but you know, again, I have this huge analytical, huge intuitive third eye thing, and I laughed how I was thinking about, you know, putting a big third eye on here just to be humorous. But this is about where everything comes together. The vision that you have, the intuition, the entrepreneur, being able to express your message. So the word angel means messenger of God, and entrepreneurs, awakened entrepreneurs, are messengers. And so I love interacting and speaking with and to and being taught by and teaching entrepreneurs, because it's where the person is stepping out on this journey, and it's an adventure. So I call entrepreneurs our business, and we want to make a profit while helping others, is that we want to discover and find and make our adventure capital.
Nobody can hear me. I'm talking and no one can hear me because I didn't unmute. Yes, I love that. I love the idea of adventure capital instead of venture capital. I like adding the adventure to it, and I mean that's I love this whole idea of entrepreneurial journey, because to me it resonates with the hero journey and everybody's life journey, and yeah, the idea that it's one big giant adventure. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay, so earlier we talked about like trusting your gut, and so many of the chakras, they resonate like a chord. So when you're playing the piano and you hit a chord, it also, the other notes along on the same chord are going to vibrate. You might not hear them all, but if you could see them dancing and singing, and so our chakras are very much like that. So this is intuition. This is our third eye. This is where, you know, these are our eyes that we can see outward into the world and gather information. This is the vision where we can go inside and see ourselves, see the center of the universe, and also to be able to see things beyond what you can see with your eyes here, to be able to have that faith, even though you don't see it yet. Maybe you're not making the exact amount of money you want. Maybe you don't have all the clients you want. Maybe not all the pieces to your business are all fitting together yet, but you have a vision. You have something that you can see through the fog that is still calling you. And so having the intuition open and listening and allowing the messages to come in so that you can then express them, they all harmonize. So we talked last time about the 5th chakra, the throat chakra here with the voice. And it's very interesting to know not only where the chakra is located physically, but we talked about the lower third chakras, not the lower third on our Google, but the lower third chakras have to do with being a human being on this planet. And then the heart was balanced in between. And then the voice is between the heart and what you can see. And now we're looking at the intuition, that it's between the crown chakra, where people consider them making contact with the divine. Our vision is right in between. So it's what we express that we can see that we're getting inspired by.
I love that. I love it. And I love that you watch my like just visual cues and go, okay, I'm going to stop talking now, because yeah, I'm so seeing and feeling that. And this has been such a fun journey for me, you guys, and hopefully it has been for you, where I feel like as Cindia and I have walked through this journey, it's so appropriate. Like whatever chakra we are on is exactly appropriate for me and my business and the space that I'm in. And I am finding that, and I'm finding that the vision, I have sort of a random question to ask you next, but that I am getting so much more clarity recently. And the idea, when you said, I wrote down third eye equals faith, the idea that when you have the vision, you're able to have faith. And this is something maybe that my kids were watching a show on, it was like Brain Games or something like this, but it talked about the illusions that our real eyes show us. And it talked about, and I won't go into all of that, but what I took from that, it basically said, your vision is not what you think it is. What your eyes tell you, your brain isn't necessarily what they're seeing. It's that they take some shortcuts and they go for, it's usually like this, so it probably is. It was really, really fascinating, but what I took from that is that perhaps the third eye is more accurate than our actual eyes. What we're seeing in our vision is much more accurate than what we're seeing with our real eyes. And knowing that we live in a vibrational universe, and I don't know, maybe I'm taking this off on a tangent, so I'm going to stop there and just ask you about that, because I know you're probably a little bit more articulate in answering, but would you say that?
Oh, faith, definitely. There's even a scripture that says, now I'm big quoting scripture, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that is saying, it's quantum physics right there. It is saying that look around your room. Every single thing that exists, from the airplane to the space shuttle to our computers, had to be an idea first. Okay, if people didn't have that vision, that faith of things that didn't exist, there would be nothing ever created. So this is an incubator for ideas. This is where new things come. This is almost like a womb. I mean, it's just coming in right now. This is a womb for human babies and creativity. This is a womb for ideas and believing in it and trusting that the messages that you are getting and that you are supposed to implement will lead to something. And so we have a billion examples. Just look around at every single thing in your room, in your house, in your city, the technology, the strides, the advances people have made, all originated from ideas first.
So let's go there, because as you were talking, I'm thinking, okay, this is awesome. This is great. But I know in the past I have had lots of ideas I don't know if it was that I felt like I had vision, but there wasn't a harmony in maybe the other places, and I couldn't come into alignment with it, right? The way that I would describe it is that I believed in desperation. Like, I had a very clear vision that I knew could be true, is true. Like, I felt, but I would like affirm it with such desperation, and nothing ever happened. And ironically, after I had sort of given up on those visions and let them completely go, like, a lot of them are coming to pass now because I'm not clinging to them with desperation. But I guess what I'm getting at is, how do we do that? How do we get in alignment with what we're seeing in our 6th chakra, right? Because as business owners, so double question, I guess, is one, what if you can't visualize? And two, assuming you have a vision for your business, for your life, for your abundance, for all of it, how do we get to that place where we're harmonized with it, and things are, we're seeing with that third eye, and so the evidence is coming to us. Is that making sense? Or third eye, 6th chakra.
Well, it's a fun question, and I hope that I can answer it. But the vision that I got was a little bit like creativity and sex. Little biology lesson here, since we're talking about all this stuff, is when the sperm and the egg get together, there was, I don't know how many, but when your papa was all happy and claiming God's name in that moment, there was 1 million sperm that went out, but it was a race between the fastest one, right? So it only takes one to fertilize the egg. And so our brains can kind of be that way, like having orgasm after orgasm of, amazing thoughts, and, oh, I could do this and I could do that. And what if I could do that? Well, that's great. And write them down for later. Not all ideas can be implemented all at once. So it's what is closest to your heart. What makes the most sense? What is the thing that will lead you next step? Next step. You can have the vision of what you want 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And when you put those things into practice, time may collapse and you might have all of those within a year or 6 months, because we can't really always identify the timeline. But it's great to have a big picture vision. But we are in a physical reality. As much as we have energy and quantum physics and the ability to do miracles, things still require processes and systems and to be organized in some fashion. Businesses don't generally just happen willy-nilly. So there still needs to be some kind of infrastructure put into place.
Sorry, I'm switching over, so it's a little bit slow. So Cindia, I'm resisting that comment. Like you would not believe. Like, what? Infrastructure? I will have none of that at this moment. Actually, no, I know that's true, and it's finally actually happening in my business. But I just want to take a minute to acknowledge the people who are here and commenting live. And Marcus, I see that you are commenting in 2 places at once, so look at you. But I'm looking at the Crowdcast comments at the moment, and there's a couple that have come up that I just want to acknowledge. So Marcus says, I guess that's the difference between when I was talking about the vision that I had, and he says, I think this is so wonderful, the difference between a wish and true vision. And sometimes they seem pretty similar. And yes, Marcus, I can see that clearly now, that it was, I got the vision from wherever, right? Maybe I'm downloading a vision from Source Energy, but I like that vision so much, I immediately turned it into a desperate wish. And so that is totally resonating with me. And then Monica, who was here, she said she's forgotten which chakra we were going to talk about today, and then now she's all excited because she understands why there was so much blue in her bubble this morning. I'm guessing this is her energy bubble that she's, Monica's third eye has kind of been blown open recently, so that's been really cool. And she also says, I can so relate to that feeling of desperation. Taken a lot of work to just let things happen naturally once the vision comes. So you talked, Cindia, about structures and processes, and I think this is a perfect segue into the free gift that you have for people, which is, I wrote it down, the Ultimate Energy Activation Kit for Abundance, because it is something that it can be one of your processes, it can be something that you use systematically. So you want to talk about that briefly?
Oh, yeah. What I have been able to download is I've been given clearing statements, and they're not just affirmations. I think affirmations are great. They're like seeds. You look at a little tiny seed and you think, how is that going to come to vegetables or what I want? If you plant them in fertile ground, they will grow. However, these are affirmations with the power, the high frequency statement to clear what's in the way as well. So if there's a block, sometimes affirmations don't work for people because when they say them, they may be doing it from an energy of that desperation or a wish, and it doesn't align with what they truly are feeling in that moment. So if they are burdened by debt or lack of clients or something, and they're like, I have all the clients I want and need, it might jar, and they might feel like they're lying. So the free gift is 10 clearing statements for abundance, where you get to say the statement, and it activates the abundance within you. There's a substance around, the divine substance that's around us all the time, and it will activate and clear at the same time. So if you want to give them the link, it's free.
Yeah, I do want to give the link, and I also want to say that you give a specific process for even how to do those energy activation statements, right? It's not like an affirmation. There's a way of being even as you get yourself into the saying of them. And I'm going to give you the link. So it is carrieroldan.com/quantum leap. That's where you can find Cindia's free gift, which is the Ultimate Energy Activation Kit for Abundance, and it is the 10 clearing statements. And I just want to say, like, I know there's a lot of free downloads out there, right? And there's a lot of things, like, it might think, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm saying this, like, so earnestly, is that they're not just affirmations. Like, if you download this gift and you do what she's saying to do, it's not just one of those, like, here, download this so I can get your email. It is like, wow, these clearing statements make a difference. And we've done some of them actually on our shows in the past, where we've stopped, we've taken a minute to do the clearing statements, and I'm getting feedback from people like, oh my God, I needed that so much. That was so powerful. So I just wanted to say that. And so normally on our first Wednesday of the month, we go a little bit over on time. I like to try and keep the shows normally to 30 minutes, but these special shows with Cindia, I've been doing about 45 minutes, just because they're so awesome and they take longer. But we're right at 11 o'clock here Pacific time now, so I do want to sort of get into wrap-up mode and just ask you, Cindia, is there anything that you think we ought to cover today that we haven't yet gotten to? So I'm going to put your face on the screen, and then you can...
Well, that depends on if we have a few minutes, or are we just wrapping up and trying to close at 11? That will make a difference.
Oh, well, no, I say let's do it. Let's go 10, 15 minutes longer. Let's party, and I'll see what everybody else is saying, but I'm here with you.
Okay. So something that really shows up, and on my in my one-on-one sessions, one of the big, deep, burning questions that people have is, what is their purpose? Am I on the right path? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's that clarity that they're really, really looking for. And so I have been given a process, and I can share it with you here. And it's called the Entrepreneurial Equation. And I just drew a little quick sketch, and I put one number over another number. And that's in math called a fraction. And it was shown to me that these awakened messengers, these enlightened entrepreneurs, have been wounded in such a way that they have been inspired to go out and find a solution. And it could be something about in your business, how like Carrie, and you're involved with teaching people how to do the Google Hangouts, because that is a solution to a problem of how do we connect? How do we get face-to-face with people and make a relationship rather than just hearing a disembodied voice? So it could be something as specific as how do we connect people in a business? But usually a person starts their business by looking for a solution for themselves. And it could be a business problem, it could be a spiritual problem, mental, physical, whatever. They see the problem and they try to solve it. Well, in this entrepreneurial equation, the number underneath stands for what your pain is. And when I talk about a person's walking around pain, it's the pain that has probably been with you the longest or is the greatest, and yet it's the one that is almost hidden. The one that you have just lived with for so long that you can be with people. You can be at a party or at a networking event or working one-on-one with clients. And it could be a physical ache that you never tell anybody about. It could be a heartache. It could be something that has been living with you, the not feeling worthy, the not feeling good enough, always having to be perfect, afraid of making a mistake, not feeling loved, whatever it is, it's underneath there. And you could be smiling and laughing and look like you have all your stuff together, but people would be shocked if they actually saw that behind closed doors, behind the curtain, you cried yourself to sleep every night or felt totally insecure before something. So the bottom number, if you're staying with me, is the ache and the pain, the walking around pain that you're so used to. But if a fairy godmother presented themselves to you and had a magic wand and they said, pick one thing that you would have healed, that you would raise your hand and say it would be my insecurity, it'd be my rejection, or it'd be whatever. And if you can articulate that, if you can really drill down, and I even heard yesterday, I heard a wonderful webinar. They said if you can articulate the problem, then the solution will reveal itself. So if you can articulate what your walking around pain is, chances are, if you look at your business, you are on some journey and adventure to find the resolution to it, and your business looks like trying to help other people solve what it is that you've been struggling with. So I've been talking for 4 minutes straight, so I'm going to pass it over to Carrie and see what you think.
I'm laughing, and I was putting in the comments over on Crowdcast. Sorry, couldn't think of the name. Yes, I'm nodding vigorously. Oh my gosh. And I think it's so important about that walking around pain that at least I know mine, I didn't recognize it until I started clearing it, until I started working with you. Like, I had such deep insecurity that, and my outer persona was so the opposite of that, that I denied it, because that was sort of the way that I learned to live. And it wasn't until I started, which led to constant anxiety. And it wasn't until I started, down this path of clearing all of that, and it actually started before my work with you, Cindia, but I didn't recognize just how much pain I was walking around with until I started removing it. So I think that's really huge. And I also wanted to say that sometimes it's the pain that gets us to start our business, but we don't know that's the start of our business yet, right? Like, we're just trying to, go ahead.
I'm going to jump in here because that's exactly right. But I want to finish is that the under the surface pain is what motivates you. You've been wounded in such a perfect way that you will be motivated and inspired to find the solution. So the top number is what you have your business about. And when you find that solution for yourself, 7 divided by 7, and I picked a random number, you become one. You become whole. And those are the people that you see who are really living it. They have found the resolution for their pain that they were born with, or that they encountered somewhere along the way, that when you resolve it for yourself, you will become whole. You will become one. You will become aligned. And your business will be so much more of what you want, because it will be a match. I call it the soul match. Some people call things like their soulmate or whatever, but I see the soul as the center of it, and your business, the clients are soul matches for you. Your lover, your best friend, your business model. The closer and clearer you are, it will become a soul match for you, and that's why it will work. So you will have resolved the issue, you will be solving it for others, you'll be helping others, and because you're an entrepreneur, you will be getting paid for your message and living and loving the life that you always knew in here, that you had the faith that you could.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I'm struggling with the top part. And I know you just explained it in detail, so maybe there's something going on with me, but I get the walking around. I think I get is so where do we do when our fraction isn't, right? Like, let me see if I can articulate this well. I get my walking around pain, but my number on top isn't matching that yet. Is that making sense? Like, I'm having a hard time asking the question, I think, but because I think that it's this. There's so many of us who we're not at the one yet, where our fraction isn't balanced.
That's okay. If you're struggling with your business, and this is for people who don't know what their purpose is yet, how you can find the shortcut to finding your purpose is to find and articulate and identify in the tightest definition that you can, like boiling it down to as few words as possible, what your long life lesson walking around pain is. And when I say walking around pain, I mean the one that you're living with every day, not the one that, just comes up once in a while. It's the one that you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and it's right there ready to pounce on your head. You wake up and you have to focus yourself and I can live through another day with this. It's the one that either came in with you, it's the one that you inherited from your family, it's the one that whatever happened to you early on, it's the one that's made the deepest impression on you. And so you are here as a container. You are carrying that wound or that pain, but you're also carrying the solution. And I think that's what's so important, that you are carrying the solution for it. And so your business will start, even if you're not at one yet aligned, your business will start to look like, maybe you can't solve it for yourself yet, but you are able to start helping other people with it. And as you help other people with it, more and more of your own stuff will get cleared and more alignment. And pretty soon, I meet a lot of people who are struggling with self-love, and yet their whole business is about self-love. Or my mind is going blank because I have so many of them, but whatever it is that they're struggling with, you can pretty much guarantee if someone is trying to help you with finding love and romance, maybe that was because it was a long time struggle for them to find love and romance. And maybe if their business was about life after divorce, it's maybe because they experienced a really rough divorce and they found a resolution for it. Or love and life after grief, because they lost someone and they had to find out how to live without that person. And so they found the solution to that grief. So most people who are aligned and have become one went through something, found the solution, and are now aligned with that. Does that make it any clearer for you, Carrie?
Yes, crystal. It was like, I don't know if you felt it, but like in the middle of your speaking, it like, I got the clarity. It lifted. Thank you. So just thank you for that clarification, Cindia, because I think I was struggling with, I was struggling with the heaviness and the weight of alignment or the bigness of life's purpose, right? But as you spoke, I recognize my own process, my own journey. Oh, and it's 11:11 here. I guess what I want to say is, how many of us does that resonate with? Like, raise your hand, right? And I know that the evolution of my business, it seems that with each new thing that I'm going through, I am then immediately helping other people solve that. Like, I find a solution and then I'm like, oh, I can help you with it. And anyways, all that to be said, I'm definitely resonating with that. And also feeling my own fraction come more and more into oneness, which just feels really, really good. So it is 11:11. I do want to wrap up by 11:15. So I just want to take a moment now, Cindia, to thank you so much for being here, for imparting all your wisdom. Thank you, those of you. I see that there's people on both pages, and so I'm thrilled that there's so many people here. Monica had something that she said earlier that I just want to acknowledge, even though Monica just had to leave to be with her client, but it is talking about the affirmations, which will bring us back to your free gift, which is perfect. She says, I love that you were speaking to the fact that affirmations may not work if what you're saying and feeling aren't aligned. And I think that's brilliant, right? She says, being able to clear the block first in order to receive makes much more sense than just desperately reciting words and wondering why it's not working. So if you'd like to clear your blocks, a really good place to start doing that is with Cindia's free gift. And I want to give it to you again. It is the Ultimate Energy Activation Kit for Abundance, and you can get that at www.carrieroldan.com/quantum leap. I'll go ahead and put that link in a couple of places as soon as we close out this show. Because and then if you need to take it one step further, if you want to, let me tell you, working one-on-one with Cindia to clear my blocks has been the greatest thing that I could have ever done for my business and for my abundance. And it has, I can feel things moving so quickly now. It's really, really worth looking into. So just saying that on a personal note. Cindia, I'm going to give you a chance for closing comments, final thoughts. So what do you got?
I just really appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who's here, and I honor everybody on their entrepreneurial journey and their awakening process, and they're saying yes, and the opening of their vision and their intuition, and to appreciate. I just want to leave them. If there is a problem, there are at least 9 solutions available. There could be a million solutions, but in past, the problem usually gets all the attention, and I'm wanting to help people to shift the balance to where if there's a problem, that's simply an arrow saying there's a solution, and to be really aware that if you have a problem, you've also been given the solution.
Oh, I love that, and it's just reminding me of what the Abraham Hicks thing about anything that you look at, you're picking up a stick, and the stick has 2 ends, right? It's got the problem end and the solution end, but you're holding both of them in your hand, and I think that's a nice way to think about it. So on that note, you guys, thank you so much for being here live. Thank you for playing with me on Crowdcast. I am liking it, and think that I will be using it more in the future. Speaking of the future, you'll notice that over the summer, my shows have been sporadic. The only one you can really count on actually over the summer is this one with Cindia. But we're in August, and my kids go back to school in September, and I'm slowly picking up steam again. And so just keep an eye out. I will be I will keep this show on Wednesday. So our last Entrepreneurial Journey to Wealthy is the next first Wednesday of the month. So it'll be the first Wednesday of September. But I'm starting to move the Carrie Roldan show to Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. for a variety of reasons. So just keep an eye out. Maybe start keeping that spot open in the schedule if you're wanting to join us live. And then, guys, just thank you so much for being here. Again, you can get Cindia's free gift, which I highly recommend, at carrieroldan.com/quantum leap. And here is a great big virtual hug for me. You got to give yourself a hug back because I really want you to feel it. And I will see you next time. Talk to you later, guys.